Vi Beth Cooper.
Absolutely. Are
I
you?
wonder, kind of, but I was also a little interested in talking about something else. I don't know, but as we'll get started, this would probably be a little bit more entertaining than I Love You, Beth Cooper. They're spicy, they're dill pickly, and they're hard to find. So I don't know. Whoever wants these, cash at me $20. I'll save you a bag.
There you go.
We can talk about Little Red Pickle Hot Cheetos and Beth Cooper.
There you go.
You like that, old man? You want a piece of me?
Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, Bunk?
Good morning, Vietnam! I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
I feel the need for speed.
I wish I knew how to quit you.
Love means never having to say you're sorry.
You do. You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
Happy Monday, moviegoers. Welcome to a brand new episode. Welcome to episode 339. Welcome to I Love You, Beth Cooper. You are listening to a brand new episode of the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Juan, and I'm joined by the other host, Zach.
The other high schooler. Hey, what's up, everybody? You doing all right? Did you have a good weekend?
It was a good weekend. It was a busy week, but we are here live to talk about another movie, another conversation. What about you? Did you have a good weekend?
Yeah, it was kind of uneventful, but made it through it, and here we are, here to do another episode.
Yeah, I had a fantastic week. It's been a fantastic couple of weeks. Things are changing. Spring is in the air. We just finished February. So
I know why you're really happy, but I won't divulge that on the air. So
hey, you know what? I am happy because I'm here to talk another movie with you and talk movies with everybody here listening. If you're watching us live on YouTube, Facebook. The YouTube is Imisawa Productions. Facebook Live, Cine-Men Movie Podcast. If you're listening to us, you can listen to us wherever you listen to podcasts at. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Podbean, Amazon Music, TuneIn, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts. Wherever you listen to your podcast, you can search yours truly. So we're not hard to find. You can also find all of our links on the social media pages. That's facebook.com/the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. The Instagram is all one word, Cine-Men Movie Podcast. X is Cinnamon405, or you can email us at cinnamon921@gmail.com. So yeah, another new episode. Zach, anything new on the agenda? Last week, if you guys did not listen to us, we had a fabulous conversation all about the Oscars. We didn't have a film topic. We just hung out and talked Oscars. The next time we're going to do that is in exactly 1 month. We're going to review and talk about physical media. That's April 21st. Strictly about physical media. Should be another fun episode. But today, let's get into the episode. I guess we can talk maybe some recent watches. Zach, do you have anything that you want to recommend for anybody?
Other than the TV shows, I guess, yeah, going off our Oscar conversation from last week, I did go check out Anora. It had like a very good weekend post Best Picture win. It was like in the top, I think it was like in the top 5 of the box office this weekend. I'll just say my thoughts. We're going to discuss it here in about a month and a half, really early May. We're going to open up May with Nora. I'll just say that I think years from now, this is going to be one of those. Is like, why did we let that win Best Picture? I'll just keep it at that. Did I talk about The Monkey last week?
No.
I did go check out The Monkey, the new Oscar Perkins movie. I love Long Legs. Long Legs was one of my favorite movies from last year. Don't go in expecting Long Legs. That's all I'll say about it.
Well, two different movies.
It's a different movie, and I texted Johnny afterwards. It's like, this is bonkers, but it's fun. You'll have fun with it. If you like horror movies, if you like gore, it is right up your alley. I'll say that. And I went and saw Mickey 17, the new Bong Joon-ho movie from the director of Parasite. I liked it. I can't compare it to Parasite just because they're different movies, but I can compare it to Snowpiercer just because it's kind of like that sci-fi, high-minded type of movie. I give it like a 3. I thought Robert Pattinson was excellent as playing like twin or clones of each of that character. But if I'm going to be honest with everyone, I like Snowpiercer better than this movie. And then
I'm gonna try to go see it Sunday.
Nice. And then you throw in hate words my way, my friend. Daredevil, Born Again is now on Disney Plus. The 2-episode premiere. I've only seen the first episode, but I was like, it's fantastic, and I'm looking forward to see what's in store. So, check out Mickey 17, The Monkey, Daredevil, Born Again on Disney Plus, and if you're interested, Nora is playing to see. Dude, I went like on a Wednesday night. That theater was packed. So,
oh really?
People are interested. So,
what was not fantastic was no, GoldenEye was fantastic. I got into GoldenEye. I don't know if I talked about that last week.
Are you in the Pierce Brosnan era now?
Yeah, GoldenEye just started. That was the first one. Really good start off. I really enjoyed GoldenEye. I checked out Time Cop because it's getting a 4K Arrow release next month, but I found it at my local vintage stock for like almost nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So I got Time Cop, Van Damme's pretty fun little sci-fi action movie. Tomorrow Never Dies was pretty decent too, but what was not decent was The World is Not Enough. I gave that one like a 1. That's the one with Denise Richards.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I completely just bozzed out on that one. That was not very good at all. And then I checked out I Love You, Beth Cooper for this week's episode. So I did not dig into a lot of movies.
So you have Die Another Day, and then you get into the Daniel Craig era, right? I think Die Another Day is next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then after that's Daniel Craig. It's the ones that I know I'm going to enjoy.
Yeah. So, since you're close to being done with Bond, what's going to be your next franchise?
I don't know. I think I still want to try to dig into some of the Best Picture winners that I have not seen. Which is there's still a lot of those, but I don't know. It should be pretty interesting. I didn't know I was going to dig into James Bond that quickly and go through it that quickly. I think I started in mid or late January.
Mm-hmm.
So it took me roughly about a month.
I've always wanted to go through all the Bond movies, but some of those, you can attest to them. Some of them are just unwatchable, honestly.
They're long. 2 hours and 12 minutes feels like it's 3 hours.
Yeah.
So, I might possibly get ready to dig into The Sopranos again. I might dig into The Sopranos and just binge watch The Sopranos again. This will be the 3rd time if I do it.
You've seen that show? You've seen the series 3 times, or
this will be the 3rd time.
Wow.
So
I can't even get past season 1. I'll be honest. I need that's one of those shows that's on my like get through list before I die. But there's just something about it.
Season 1 is a slow burn, but after season 1, when he starts really developing and becoming Tony, is when it just starts. It's balls out. So
okay.
I got to represent some kind of gangsterish Godfather shirt on today.
There you go.
So we got the little mural in the back with Sopranos, Al Pacino, Godfather. So they got to have a little first dinner is what I like to call it. So
Nice.
yeah. But let's dig into what we are here to talk about. Before we get started, Zach, what kind of chose you in this direction? It's always been something you've wanted to bring up to talk about, but this was your brainchild.
Yeah, I think, and you might have to correct me on this, but I think I tried to get us to do this last year or the year before.
It was going to be a bonus episode. I had the poster made and everything.
That's right. It was going to be like I think it was last year because I think last year it celebrated its 15th anniversary, and so you're like, let's just do it as a bonus. And I was like, well, something came up, and we never got around to it. And so, thanks to our topic of the year, Matthew McConaughey, we did Ghost of Girlfriend's Past last month or in February, and it brought back up, and he said, "You asked me if you want to do it." I said, "Yeah, let's go." So here we are. It's a movie. We'll get into it, but like, it's one that I've always. I have a reason why I've treasured it, but it's just one that I've always. I don't know. I've always enjoyed it.
Let's dig into it. Let's ask the questions why. I Love You, Beth Cooper, with the release date of July 10th, 2009. Currently on IMDb, it's at a 5.3, a 13% on Rotten Tomatoes. The Metascore is 32%, and the Letterboxd is a 2.3%. There's a 2.3 out of 5. The budget was $18 million. It only grossed $16 million at the box office. Starring Hayden Panettiere, Paul Rust, Jack Carpenter, Lauren London, Lauren Storm, and Sean Roberts. Jared Kesso is in it. The MVP of the movie, Alan Ruck, and directed by Christopher Columbus. A nerdy valedictorian proclaims his love for Beth Cooper, the hottest, most popular girl in school. During his graduation speech, that's right, that very night, she shows up at his door offering to show him the best night of his life. All right, Zach, do you remember the first time you seen this movie, and what was it like revisiting it for the podcast? And then if you guys are watching before we leave, I'll give some thoughts on some Lil Dill Pickle hot Cheetos. Go ahead, Zach.
Yes. So to give a little back history of this, I read the book. I pulled it out here. I do got the movie cover version of this. I read this back in 2009 when the movie was coming out in the summertime. I'll talk about the book as we go through. And then, as a real bonus, look at this. I still have the ticket stub that I saw it.
Oh, wow.
So I have a little notebook or a little journal thing. Look at this. You want to know how many times I go to the movies? Look at all that.
Zach, I gotta ask you something.
So,
what do you do if you cannot physically get a copy of the ticket that day?
It kills me. Oh, no. I will find a way to get a ticket stub, whether it be as I'm leaving the theater to search the ground, see if I can find one. But I usually, at this point, I kind of just I pre-order my tickets and they come like a little ticket stub through my email, and I just print that off and use that now, honestly. So yeah, I read the book. I saw the movie in theaters when it came out, summer of 2009. I had a blast with it. I still think I do think that this. I know this is not a good movie, but it's an enjoyable movie in my mind. And then on this rewatch, I was just like, there's problems with it that I kind of overlooked in the theater while I was watching it, but I still like this movie. So, but you're the new one.
It's a guilty pleasure for Zach. I've seen this movie in the theaters, high school.
Really?
I was in high school. I was my senior year. It was one of those.
Were you the other person in my theater that day?
I seen this at Crossroads.
Okay, I saw it at the Warren. Okay,
yeah, I seen this at Crossroads. Kind of hung out, Took a lady to go see it. Yeah, high school. You're like you can bring yourself to like this movie. Um, so actually, I had just finished high school when this came out, so gravitated a lot towards it. Never had the desire to watch it again. Um, Picked it up today. I didn't buy it today. I bought this copy like years ago. It also comes with All About Steve. Um, Bradley Cooper, Sandra Bullock, but picked that up like maybe 10 years ago, and just now getting around to rewatch it for today's episode. So
Okay. So you're not gonna hurt my feelings. I'll just start off. We'll start off with
so if you guys follow us on social media, you guys can again facebook.com/the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. And I asked a question today on the social media page because this is one of those movies I feel like is and can be a coming of age story. So I asked, is this a coming of age classic or a detention dud? We'll get into it.
the fact that you're not giving away the answer kind of gives it away what it is.
I had a really hard time with, which first off, I got to remember, I forgot how raunchy this movie is.
Yeah.
And it's PG-13.
Yeah.
But I forgot it was playing on the fine line of is this rated R? Or I had to keep double checking because there was like two scenes where I'm like, hold on a second. But then I forgot, almost 15 years ago is way different.
Yeah.
Yeah, is way different. But
yeah, I totally agree with you. I feel like this movie, it really didn't know if it wanted. It really tread the line of, we want a broad audience, but we don't want to get it an R rating. But to me, at that point, just go all out, because the book itself, I've read this book several times. It's an easy read. This is a R. When you read this book, you clearly think that, oh, this is going to be an R-rated movie. That to me is like the biggest. When you close the book, when you close the page, it's like, yeah, this movie's coming out. This is going to get an R rating. And when I saw it was PG-13, it really surprised me. So it's just, to me, it's just like, if you're going to do this type of movie, just do, go all out and just, do it.
Well, it didn't bother me that it was PG-13 because I didn't read the book. I didn't know where it wanted to be, but it was super raunchier than what I thought it was going to be, which is okay.
Yeah.
But around this time, man, you have some movies like Knocked Up coming out. You have Juno, I think, was around this time. What's the other one? Easy A, I think, was somewhere maybe around this time. Superbad had just came out and made it big. So like
prior, yep.
I gotta tell you, I also did not love the cast in this movie. In this watch around.
Here's the thing for me, and the reason I really like this movie. Oh, that's funny. I Love You, Beth Cooper, and Ghost of Girlfriend's Past came out the same year. I think they were like 4 months apart from each other, I think. The reason I was so drawn to this movie is because of the lead actress, Hayden Panettiere. I had a huge crush on her. That was like one of my celebrity crushes in high school. And I think the movie, you had just graduated high school, so it was more probably aligned to yours, but I think I was like a sophomore or a sophomore in high school. And, this is the typical, the nerdy guy gets with the hot, cheerleader girl. And it's just, as a team that I want that.
Really, the only thing she had did big before this was Bring It On All or Nothing.
And she was in Heroes prior to that.
Other than that, you're looking at
I mean, she's not like a huge name actress, but I mean, at that time,
Remember the Titans. This was supposed to be her coming out party. This was
right?
supposed to be the movie that put her on the map with probably Emma Stone or
Jennifer Lawrence, yeah.
yeah. But I mean, and it kind of did. It started pushing out some. She started pushing out some pretty big movies after this, but
she probably got a bigger welcoming party with Scream 4, which is like 2 years after this.
But I just got to tell you, like, I didn't like the cast. I didn't like the guy who played Dennis, who's supposed to be the one who goes after and gets the girl. I wasn't in love with Paul Rust. The guy who plays the buddy, Jack Carpenter, who plays Rich, to me, he felt like he was, I don't know why, but I'm like, he felt like a Dollar General version of Jay Burchill.
They couldn't get Jay Burchell for this movie.
Yeah.
No.
And I'm a huge movie nerd, don't get me wrong, but his spoofs of always repeating the movie and the director and the year.
That was me. That's my character.
Yeah, it started to get super, super old by probably the middle of the movie.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. Like with the exception of Hayden or as Beth, none of the characters really work on this rewatch for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and part of the problem is that like I kind of did like the math of like how old the actors were. Hayden was like 19, 20 when she filmed this. Paul Russ is like damn near almost 30 years old, and to me it shows. It's just like, dude, you look like you've been out of high school for like 10 years.
Yeah. Also, the guy who played the boyfriend, Sean Roberts, he looked like he was
in a different movie.
No, well, I felt like he was. Have you seen Scott Pilgrim versus the World?
Yeah, the Chris Evans character.
Yeah, you know how campy and like video game-ish that movie felt. That's how I thought he and his crew was in this movie.
Yeah,
except they were like really bad at it. And he felt like he was almost 30 as well in this movie.
Yeah, all the actors, with the exception of Hayden, is like way older than what their characters are. And to me, that just why didn't you just like hire like teenage actors? Just if Hayden is your main character, surround her with just like a bunch of no names, and you probably would have done a little bit better. Maybe not movie like directing wise, but at least you can believe the characters.
Her friends, I thought, were okay.
Yeah, to me, on this rewatch, there were just a bunch of cringy moments, in my opinion. They were just like, oh wow, this is this is not as good as I remember it being, honestly.
This really was, though, her movie to let her shine. So I get that. You know what I mean? Like this was her coming of age story. This was her movie.
Yeah.
But you have to set at least some, or maybe one or two decent characters up around her. Well, I think when you title the movie "I Love You, Beth Cooper," I don't think you start the movie out with the graduating ceremony and he flat out says, "I love you, Beth Cooper."
That's what happens in the book, though. Like the
that
book,
feels...
I will say that the movie is a spot on, damn near perfect adaptation of this. I mean, it is like verbatim. Which, if you're real anal about that, then I will say this is one of the better adaptations I've seen, book to movie. But that's how it opens up. It's the valedictorian. He comes out and says the title of the movie, and then all chaos goes from there. And one of the biggest thing is like, if you're gonna have Hayden be your star character, or the character that your movie is titled on, you got to have an actor who has chemistry with her. I don't think they had much chemistry on this rewatch. I didn't think. I don't know about you, but
no chemistry at all.
it just didn't flow, honestly. And I hate to say that because like I really, really like this movie, but like this is this is one of the best examples of when you go back and rewatch it. So I'm like, oh, maybe I won't say I'm wrong about it, but like I can definitely.
Well, we all have guilty pleasure moments.
Yeah.
Guilty pleasure movies, but yeah, this one. Don't get me wrong. While we're opening the conversation by crapping on it, there were some scenes that I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
The scene where they're in the car and they're singing the Alice Cooper song.
Yeah.
That's a fun scene. Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta say, the scene with the dad. Every time you see the dad in the movie,
Alan
he's
Ruck.
he's the guy who's in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. He plays in Twister. He's a fun character, and I think this was also, it was nice to see him as the parent since he was in Ferris Bueller's Day Off as the troubled teenager. So it was fun to see him in this dad role. So every time the dad was on screen, I really enjoyed that scene or any of those scenes. So, what about you? Because this movie it's an hour, and to me, it's also like an hour and 40 minutes.
It's really like I was curious about that. It's about an hour and 35 without the credits. So I mean, to me, that's the perfect length. You don't need a 2-hour "I Love You, Beth" Cooper movie. To me, most of the movie works. The performances, like I said, are a little cringy. Some of it is just it's trying too hard to get that magic. I think Hayden does a very good job in this movie. Yeah, I would agree with you. There's like this movie is almost like kind of like a moments. Like there are good moments throughout this movie.
Yeah,
but it just doesn't. On the rewatch, it's not.
And I like the story. Don't get me wrong. The nerdy guy who
confesses his love,
finally confesses, and she shows up at the party she got invited to, and then they have their adventure kind of night, which is a nice high school romance comedy film. But it just no chemistry. I don't know. It just wasn't there. At least this watch for me. So
yeah,
I kind of wish. Yeah, looking back at it, I kind of wish there was some, extra, just some extra like emotions with the characters.
Yeah, it's
and I know this is in the book, but like by the second or third time that the boyfriend shows up to beat up Dennis, I'm kind of like, okay, at what point is this call 911 because you're about to get murdered?
Oh no, that happens throughout the entire book. But even the shower sequence, like that's in the book. And there's an alternate ending. I don't know. Did you see that on the DVD on the Blu-ray?
Yeah, where
he almost drowned or whatever.
Yeah, which I liked. I liked the alternate ending a lot better than the original ending.
Yeah. I think, with a movie like this, you really, fantasy book in this, I don't know what you think about this, but you really probably don't need to have like the aggressive evil boyfriend. You could just have the moral compass of the characters of like, we're like breaking 50 laws here, but should we do it? That's kind of the enjoyable thing about Ferris Bueller's Day Off is just like, if you're a kid, high school student, and you have the day to go do whatever, what are you going to go do? And are you going to regret it? Or are you just going to go live life?
And it works. Movies like Ferris Bueller just work so well, even 40 years later, because there's that anticipation of what if he gets caught.
Yeah.
In this movie, with all due respect to Christopher Columbus, I had no anticipation for are they going to get together, because it was just so obvious.
Yeah.
That that the boyfriend was way too much of a jerk. They spent way too much time together. It was just so obvious that they were going to, if not share a magical kiss together, they were at least going to have an American Pie,
esque
ending. So
well, and to me, one of my
go ahead. Well, I was just going to say movies like these are so predictable, which is fine, but entertain me while I get there.
Yeah. If you're going to do the storyline, you got to make it fun. Don't get C-level actors and actresses to play your roles, and it's just like, oh, that scene, like one of the most cringiest scenes in the movie for me is like when the girls show up at the quote unquote house party at Dennis's house, and he's just trying so hard to be cool. It's just like, dude, it's not working, and it's coming off as real cringe more than anything. So just stop.
Well, not only that, but like, okay, so the chemistry is not there with the surrounding cast. That's fine, but I would really have liked to seen who else maybe is out there or audition for this movie. $16 million. Or $18 million. That's a big budget for a rom-com.
Well, it didn't make its budget back. It was
lost money.
Yeah, it was made for 18 million. And it only grossed 16.4 million. So
it made me wonder if did half of that budget go towards the score or the soundtrack?
It probably went to the score, the songs, because they use
they use some good.
They use Kiss. I mean,
Foreigner.
Yeah, and so I think the most of the money went to there. I think the other percentage went to Hayden because she was actually a kind of not a big name actress, but people knew who she was. And then the director, Chris Columbus.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there is that so-called directors hardly get paid anything. Do you believe that?
I don't know. I mean, you're going to tell me, and I'm not even going to make that comparison because I was going to say, you're going to tell me that Christopher Nolan doesn't make $500,000 or more, like $50 million when he directs Oppenheimer. No.
Yeah. Well, I've heard the same thing about people like De Palma or Scorsese make hardly anything, and hardly anything to them in that world is probably maybe $100,000. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And sometimes I think the director forfeits their paycheck so they can have more of a budget, or they can use that towards the budget or whatever.
Yeah, but so what are some of the positives of the movie that you liked?
The positive of the movie that I like is the aforementioned main actress that we got, Hayden Panettiere. I think that the big moments in the movie, where they go from one scenario to the next scenario, I think that is kind of timed out perfectly. Then that way you're not checking your watch.
Yeah.
There is some funny. I don't know. I like one of the biggest compliments I will give to this movie is the small character moments, whether it's between Dennis and Beth, where at the end of the movie, and this is another thing I really liked, is she knows that when this night is over or high school's done, that's really all there is. You see these people that try to relive their glory days in high school, and it's over. They can't reclaim it. And I like how Beth kind of acknowledges that when they're sitting watching the sunrise. And so, did you want to say something?
You said acknowledge. Every time somebody says acknowledge, I have to acknowledge.
Oh, the tiny character moments that are in this movie work for me. Maybe because I read the book and I know the subcontext of what they're talking about.
I like the excuse me. I like the small character moments from Beth, but there are some moments that I like. If I'm not looking at Paul Rust or the guy who plays Dennis, if I'm not looking at Dennis's age or how he has no chemistry or how he is kind of pointless in his character base, there are some points where she's this movie is good to look at, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
I also I enjoyed even though he gave me vibes of a cheap version of Jay Baruchel. Like I did like the best friend a little bit more than Dennis. I feel like the guy who was the best friend was way more quirky and entertaining, kind of than what Dennis was. Taking away the, you know, Titanic 1997, yeah.
Yeah.
Which I get. That's his character.
Right.
He's the drama nerd. Everybody has, you know,
Well,
everybody in this movie is set based.
yeah,
So-
and like that, and that's his big thing in the book is that he loves to quote. He's kind of like us, you know. We can quote movie quotes all day long, and who directed it, who starred in it. That's that character.
I feel like he's more of a main character than Dennis is, though. Like, yeah,
I really think he really could have played Dennis, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think he
why
could
not-
pull it off.
why not just have him up there saying he loves Beth Cooper?
There you go. That's the alternate version of the movie.
I also wasn't in love with the big house party scene. At least in the movie.
You kind of, and they got to do like the rapey gym teacher motif that is
Oh
in
my god.
that movie in every high school movie ever.
But you know, he looked just as young as the seniors.
Yeah.
He was mixed in. I was like, wait a minute, are you a senior? Oh, you're the gym teacher.
So you want to hear something funny? So this movie came out July of 2009. And I think one of the big reasons why people don't remember this is because the next week after this came out was Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. So, you know, this movie was already dead on arrival when that came out. And the week prior to this, Public Enemies came out. I saw Beth Cooper in the theater, but I did not see Public Enemies in the theater.
Oh
What does
my
that say?
god.
What does that say about me?
Man, Zach.
I was supporting my fake girlfriend here, but years later, Public Enemies is like one of my favorite movies of all time. So I don't know, man.
You were Dennis in that time.
Oh man, dude, the stories I could tell. But honestly, maybe that's why one of the reasons why I've always been attracted to this movie is because I was in high school when this came out, and so it kind of, I wasn't a senior, but like I knew, there was a bunch of girls that I wanted to go out with in high school, and I never shot my shot, and here I am. Or it's one of those things where it's just like, if you got up in front of all your classmates and actually said that, do you think in reality they'd be creeped out by that, or would it be like, oh, that's cute,
See, two different generations. Today, they would have been like, oh, that's cute. 15 years ago, that would have been like high school career suicide.
Yeah, you're that version of being canceled back in the day.
Yeah. Like today, if somebody does that who's in high school or middle school, they're like, oh, that's cute.
Yeah. Back then, it'd be like, get this guy out of here, please.
20 years ago, you're getting a wedgie and you're getting put up on the side on the flagpole. Maybe that's also why this movie didn't age well to me, is because I know, like, man, if half that stuff went down in school today, like,
that school would be shut down.
Yeah, or like, another thing I kind of didn't like, and you can justify, or you can, I did not like how they kept making a big deal of Rich being gay or not gay.
Yeah.
That didn't age very well at all either.
That didn't age very well, and that's a recurrent theme in the book. And of course he has the threesome with Beth's two friends, and that's kind of like, is he gay? Is he not gay? Whatever. But it's just, this movie is so, I don't think you could make this movie today, to be honest. Even if you got it down to like maybe a soft PG-13 rating, but it's not really needed. That's kind of like a C plot of the whole movie. which you don't, by the end of it, you don't really care, because even at the end, it's just like, oh, I could be gay or I could be bisexual. You don't even really get a full answer to that by the end of the movie.
Yeah, and see, 15 years later, that's like you said, it's not needed. It's why is that even a topic of discussion? But again, 15 years ago, things are not what they seem to be.
Yeah. Yeah, and the end of the movie is kind of like, you're kind of sitting there, you're just like, is he going to go out with her? Is he not? When they were talking about like, oh, I'm gonna message her on Facebook, ask her out that way, which is that was a big thing back in the day. So it's kind of like time accurate, I guess you would say.
Yeah, it also leaves you, for the wondering mind, which I guess at that time, like I said, even though it felt like an obvious ending, that was still, oh, you still technically don't know if they ever did anything. So, like I said, I prefer the alternate ending. If you guys have the physical media, or if you rent it, which you can rent this movie for $3.99 on Vudu, Movies Anywhere, Amazon Prime, YouTube TV, $3.99 if you want to check it out. But I don't think the alternate ending comes in any of those versions. So if you somehow find it on physical media, or you can just YouTube it, the alternate ending is only like six minutes. So,
yeah.
Zach, you got a favorite scene?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh no, I'll get mine off the way real quick. Mine would probably be the alternate ending, because I like how he's, oh, I'm going to my dad's stupid alma mater, and it turns out to be Stanford. It's a pretty good ending. And then I do like the Alice Cooper school's out for the summer scene. Yeah.
I'm gonna say the final, like, kind of emotional moment between Dennis and Beth when they're watching the sunrise. I think out of all the scenes, that's probably the best one that Paul Rust, who plays Dennis, does a good job in. Out of the big moments, I mean, the shower scene is kind of like, that's kind of like a very typical high school comedy sex thing. I don't know. I mean, I feel like I'm betraying myself, because I know I like this movie, but I know it's not very good, type thing.
Yeah.
So I do know. I will say, one of my notes I have right here is like, if this movie was made in the 80s, John Hughes would have made it, and it probably would have been a lot better than what we got.
That's true, but hey, Christopher Columbus, my guilty pleasure is Big Daddy, so we're not too far fetched from that director,
Yeah,
so
that's true.
Star rating, I'll go first. To be honest, I was kind of a little disappointed. I really wanted to like this movie. I really do like Hayden. Zach, help me out here. Yeah, I really do like her. She was probably the best part of this movie. And for that, I'm going to give this movie a 1.5 stars. So, yeah. So, 1.5 stars. Zach?
I'll be honest. I had this movie at a 3 out of 5. I'm going to drop it just after talking it with you. I'm going to drop it down to a 2.5. It's not great, but it's definitely of a time period that I was just like, I really cherish that memory of going to see it. Maybe that's why. I really, like I said, I really enjoyed the book. So it's one of those things. It's a guilty pleasure, I guess. Sum it up. Yeah. It's a guilty pleasure. So
yeah, and like I said, we all have those. If you guys want to send us your thoughts on I Love You, Beth Cooper, or maybe a guilty pleasure of yours, let us know. And,
what did the Facebook people say about it?
Oh, there were some no comments yet.
Oh, no comments.
No. I haven't checked Twitter or the email yet, so there's still those probably. Way more people are interactive on Twitter than Facebook. So next week, Zach, what are we getting into? We are getting back into a Matthew McConaughey movie.
Yeah, we're going back to the McConaughey. And I swear to God, we did not plan this at all, but we're talking about the 20th anniversary of Sahara. Matthew McConaughey, Penelope Cruz, Steve Zahn. I'll be honest, I've owned this movie for a long time. I've never seen it. I've never seen it.
I've owned this movie for about 10 years, but I have never seen it as well. So this will be a first-time watch for me.
It's not streaming anywhere. I had to get this from the library. So what does that tell you?
So another movie not streaming. We're making it hard for you guys to go out there and watch along with us. But the week after that, we will be talking Wolfman from 2025, a Blumhouse horror movie. And then the week after that, we end March 31st, with The Wrestler. So that'll finish out March, and then we head on to springtime in April. Zach, before we get on to Sahara, anything else you want to add to Beth Cooper?
No, there's not much you can say about this. Like I said, I still ride or die for Hayden, so whatever she's in, I'll definitely see it. But yeah, like I said, it's guilty pleasure, and I'm guilty for watching it and liking it. So, what about you?
And the highlight of my watch were the Flamin' Hot Dill Pickle Chips. Leave it to Chester and the Flamin' Hot crew to save any bad movie. The Flamin' Hot Dill Pickle Chips, I'll give it a 4.5 out of 5. So
you're saying, the dill pickle Cheetos are a lot better than Beth Cooper.
This time around, yes, we'll see. Whether my stomach intends to agree with that or not, we will find out. But no, you know what? I never regret any of our watches here. It's always good to come on and talk movies with you, Zach, and movies, and let everybody else listen in and chime in our conversation. So until next week, we'll talk movies again with you guys next week on another new episode of the Cine-Men Movie Podcast as we talk Sahara and our themed Matthew McConaughey year. Have a good week. Talk to you next week.
Bye.